All right, it's Thursday, October 5th. This is an end of the day SPY recap, and today we end up with another inside bar, a one bar. We didn't take out the high or low of the previous day, and it's kind of 2 days in a row now of price action that's contracting inside this red bar. So now we're set up for inside bar, either breakouts or failures. And, again, as I discussed on yesterday's recap video, I really prefer the failures in these situations. So we will see tomorrow, and there's an economic number in the morning, if that produces some kind of maybe false move up that comes back through the range, or a move down that comes up through the range, or maybe you get a strong breakout. If you remember on the weekly chart, we had two inside weeks in here, and once it eventually broke out, it was a pretty strong breakout. I don't know if that's the same conditions right now on the daily chart, but price action will lead the way, depending where it goes tomorrow. So there should be some volatility based on the economic number and based on the, price action that is ready to go one way or the other. And clearly, the trend is still down. So the ideal trade would be kind of a move up that takes out some stops and then, fails and comes back through this range and even maybe closes lower on the week. Because again, on the weekly chart, we've discussed, we still have targets down here to the yellow line, even though, we're at a little bit of exhaustion risk, 1 week down, 2 weeks down, 3 weeks down. We're just pausing in here. It's still red on the week, but you can see it's just kind of pausing. But I don't know how things are going to end up tomorrow. And since we have two narrow bars in here, maybe we get a big red bar down. You never know. Or maybe we get an up move that creates kind of a hammer look, and we're going to rally into next week. I think by the end of tomorrow, we'll certainly have a good indication what's unfolding for next week. I still think in the big picture, as I look at the quarterly chart, we have a 2 down on the quarterly chart with a target down here, and this is the very beginning of this quarter, October, November, December. So we have like 3 months to really get down there. So any moves that kind of move up a little bit, the exciting opportunities are still going to be to the downside in the weeks and months ahead until proven otherwise. And that's, as long as we stay below the midpoint of that quarter, we'll continue that. We might get green a little while here, but then we'll kind of wait for this quarterly bar to turn red again, and that will start maybe a big move down towards our next target. But that's the big picture. So anyway, today, what unfolded quickly, I was hoping after this inside bar yesterday, we'd get a failure, and then maybe start down. But instead, the market right out of the gates, you can see the pre-market range between the blue lines right out of the gates. We had a red shooter bar, followed through on bar 2. I shot videos, I bought some puts there. But I said I'm going to be very nimble because we're kind of above the midpoint of the prior day at that moment. It just looked like this first bar was going to take out these stops down here, the pre-market stops. So I scaled out to set up a no-risk trade. And then just knowing we have a big inside day today, even though we're heading down from the top of the range, I took profits kind of on this push down. Then it paused, and I was watching to see what would happen here. And then we start down again. You can see we took out this stop right here, and I kind of took profits on that view. The trade that I posted, I bought the 426 puts at 360. I was very conservative, scaled out 50 cents higher at 410, and then I exited the final position, the 426 puts, at 530. And you can see they closed here at like 293. So, after we kind of hit this target down here, the low end, you can see it from yesterday, kind of a pivot bottom. Market immediately just reversed up for the rest of the day. And that's because, you're in this, you have to know your condition. You're in the inside bar here from yesterday. So when you're starting down from the top, I don't really know what's going to develop, if you're going to have a big down day or not. And the price action started down, but given just the morning push and given the uncertainty of everything, I just decided to take the base hit gains on this trade. There'll be tomorrow, if we get a failure or a big breakout, there might be much more directional moves to stay with. But on this type of day, if you were going to take the opening trade, I think it was wise just to take a base hit gain early. And, it could have had a secondary push down here, but again, you're inside of yesterday, and that's why things can get very choppy. And you're inside of really the last 3 days. You can see that in here, and that's why you're not really in directional movement right now to get these. When you get this little secondary push to take out maybe the low of the day, it's not necessarily high probability that it's going to get there. Is my point. It might have, and then immediately come up, or it might have continued, but it just wasn't a high probability secondary trade in this condition. The opening trade was more high probability, and then who knew it was going to then come all the way back up and kind of create this, just almost a doji kind of bar inside day. So we will see what happens tomorrow on the economic news. That's kind of, a big thing. I think there should be some good volatility one way or the other. I think the opening price action plus the pre-market range, as always, will kind of lead the way as to, and maybe we'll have some good trading on Friday, good directional movement one way or the other.